First of all, someone wanted to ask about your retirement. Do you think that age had a lot to do with your decision, or do you think it was the fact that lately it's been a little bit tough for you?
It's a little bit of both in a way. I mean, lately it's been kind of tough for me to even get a decision anywhere in this world. And at the same time, the age also plays a factor. But the main decision was basically trying to. I've been in this sport a little too long, and in the same time, I wanted to spend a little more time with my family, not worry about the next fight. And it's a situation, like you say, I mean, there's a little bit of both at the same time. I mean, it doesn't, the deepest part of why I retired is just, sometimes you have to say enough is enough. You're happy you did it. You did a lot in your career, and it's time to move on and try to help other kids out there. I mean, that do need some help and they need a hand trying to move up in this world. And I always done that through my career, and I want to focus more on it.
Gotcha. Sounds good. Number two, beside David Tua a long time ago, Hay was your second knockout loss in your whole career, which is really impressive as a heavyweight. Somebody asked, do you think that if you, for example, still lost to David Hay, but via a unanimous decision, maybe you would rethink your retirement?
No, actually. I mean, the sad part about it is that I brought those thoughts into that ring. I mean, I was already thinking about retiring, and I was in my mind already. And the sad part is I brought it to the ring instead of bringing that hunger. Somehow that hunger got lost along the. And I could only say that I didn't bring my 100% into that fight, but at the same time, I mean, he was a better man that day. I mean, I take my hat off to him. He did what he needed to do. I basically, I can only say congratulations.
Yeah. How'd you feel in that fight? As far as what do you think about him?
It was a good fight. I mean, and at the same time, I'm wishing him the best. This heavy division needs a little more excitement. Maybe he could actually bring that to the heavy division.
Okay. Do you think that David Hay has the potential, being the fact that you just recently fought him and you have more than enough experience to be able to feel out a fighter, whether you lose or win, doesn't matter. Do you think that Hay has the potential to beat either of the Klitschko brothers?
Well, it's tough to say because at least the Klitschkos have a longer reach. And at the same time, they're also as experienced. And for myself, I mean, it was a situation where I wasn't in the right state of mind. But at the same time, I mean, like I say, he was the better man that day. And against the Klitschkos, I can't quite say. I mean, I can't quite say it because, like I said, their goal is to basically outweigh their opponents and use their jab. At the same time, quick. Definitely. I mean, like I say, I mean, I wish I still had the determination, but somehow along the way that hunger, that basically to be the best and to fight the best, it somehow got lost, and somehow retirement got creeping in. And when you start thinking about retirement, in this point, if you start thinking about other than going out there and fighting, you must just get out.
Yeah. What do you think was your most successful fight in your whole career?
I have to go back to my, winning the championship. That's the best thing in my, that's one of the things that happened in my life that, I will never forget. And, becoming the first Latino heavyweight champion, it was an honor, and, it's something that, I would always think of and always go back to. And also that parade in Puerto Rico, I mean, that parade that lasted at least 8 hours, and all the people came out to support me. And, it's stuff like that make this decision for myself to retire a lot, I wouldn't say harder, but at the same time, it definitely brings a good memories.
Yeah. What loss for you was the hardest to overcome mentally that you can remember?
You know, there are times when the criticism really got to me. You know, all through my career, there's been some kind of criticism. I mean, some were really negative, and you know, there are times when that I couldn't quite comprehend why they're expressing those kind of words towards me, and you know, it was kind of tough. Sometimes it was tough to get over it. At the same time, also the fight with Tua, where being out the first round, and there's something like that I had to go through a phase in my life that I had to rethink everything in my whole about my career.
Yeah. Stemming from that, who do you think is the best opponent you've ever faced?
I gotta go back to the Holyfield fights. I mean, just something that Holyfield being a legend himself, and a guy who's willing to do whatever he needs to do to win a fight, and you know, I gotta admire that of an opponent. You know what I mean? And he actually, the thing is that he brought out the best in me. Good.
It was a good fight. Wow. And Daniel from San Francisco wanted to know, after the James Toney failed his drug test after your fight with him, you mentioned the lawsuit. Whatever happened with that?
You know, I was trying to. You know, the whole thing in boxing is that if you lose a fight, it's like you start all over again. You know, and the thing is that, you know, boxing itself needs to fix its drug tested, because there's no sense doing a fight and then all of a sudden you get tested positive afterwards, where if the guy wins, basically the guy who lost the fight is gonna basically it's like stepping back stepping back and starting all over again.
Yeah.
You know, and that's wrong. I mean, because in wrong, you always want to move forward, but at the same time, these setbacks end up hurting your career than helping it. I mean, even though James Toney tested positive, it still hurt my career.
Yeah, that's true.
And the boxing itself needs to, you know, focus on the drug testing beforehand, before the fight, and then basically have the fight, and then do another drug test after the fight. I mean, so.
Yeah, I get it. What are your thoughts on your fight with Roy Jones? I think that was probably one of the more famous fights. What are your thoughts?
Well, you know, the Roy Jones fight was a fight where I always said, I mean, I didn't go in mentally. I was going through a divorce at the time, and you know, I was thinking about my kids and you know, stuff like that. You know, like I say, I mean, you start thinking other things other than the fight itself. I mean, you definitely either you do two things: either you don't take the fight, or you go through the motion and do take the fight. I mean, so that's why I went through the motion on that fight, and you said those motion was enough to par to beat Roy Jones.
Yeah, so just bad timing for you in your life, huh?
Well, definitely. Things in boxing, I mean, there's a situation where things do happen in your personal life, and you want to get